beautiful Saturday, as I call it most of the times, and welcome to Off the Pitch, a show that gives you nothing but the best in terms of sports highlights. And I'm your host, Amos, aka Amore. And today the team is in high spirits because it's a full squad. Angorapson is back with us today, not forgetting Augustine. But first, Angorapson, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, and it's always a pleasure to be here. I missed last weekend's show, and the sports fraternity was all over, and we saw a lot of news coming up and a lot of results that were probably very shocking. The turnaround of events at Nkana Football Club, they are on a positive trajectory, and only hoping that we continue with that kind of form, and looking forward to the fixtures that are coming alongside that path.
Augustine, welcome to the show. Hopefully you also say off Red Arrows, because the way Angorapson I saw off Nkana here.
Thank you very much, Amos, and good morning to the viewers out there. We return all the glory and honor to the Most High God for the gift of life and good health. And we dare to dream at Ngoloma Stadium. Continental football is just in our sights. It's in our sights. We are just, goal difference is separating us from the top four. Red hot Red Arrows.
Thank you for that. He's been very, very fantastic.
Yeah, he's been brilliant.
He starts off the bench. Whether he starts a match, he gets off the bench and gets on the pitch. He goes there to do what he knows how to do best. And kudos to Red Arrows. They've been on a very, very positive trajectory. I can't take anything away from them.
And Coach Chisimbiwe just said he's a blessing. James Shamanga is just a blessing. That's what he had to say after the NAMSA game.
Anyway, to our viewers who are just joining us, like I said earlier, you're watching Off the Pitch, a show that brings you nothing but the best in terms of sports. You can also tell your friends that they can watch us live. That's on our Facebook page. Come the TV, follow it, like it, and you'll be able to watch us live. And within the course of the show, we'll be joined by a special guest who we are going to have a very, very, very good discussion with, and hopefully you guys will enjoy. Angorapson, a quick one. You started the show with a very good topic to say Nkana has turned the tables around.
Well, fortune has come to our heads, and clearly, as a big team, the coming back of Beston Chambeshi, basically, it's purely to motivate the players and change their mindsets. There's nothing that you can teach the old dog new tricks. Nkana has been there, we've been losing, and now all we needed is somebody who can sack the players from the losing perception to a positive perception where they start looking at games in a very, very different way. We've seen that happening. We've had back-to-back wins, probably wins that we've never experienced the whole lot of this year. I think we last won, other than the 2 games, we last won on the 13th of January, which was the first game of this year. And when you look at what has been going on in the middle of the past months, it's been a very, very sorry sight. But I think the path to recovery is there. We are on a positive trajectory, and the fight to get out of that relegation zone is still on, and we are looking forward to Nkana surviving. I wouldn't want to imagine losing Nkana Football Club going to Kashikish Warriors. I mean, it would be a very, very, very disappointing thing to do. Of course, I'm not disrespecting Eden. The Eden League is very, very important to the nation as well. But just for a club like Nkana Football Club to find itself traveling to Zesco Shogas, it would be very, very disappointing. I think for us in Lusaka, we'll just be enjoying when they come to play City of Lusaka here. One of our guests is about to come on board to come and just finish up that story.
Yeah, last week, I think last week's show we had, that's the question we had posed, and we were hopefully that we'll get a call from you even if you were busy covering some soccer games. But Augustine, looking at the last callers that we had last week on Saturday when we posed the question to say, do you think Ghana will survive relegation? Do you feel like that miracle is happening?
Yeah, I think that if you remember last week's show, I talked about the derby being a stepping stone for Ghana Football Club. It was always going to be the game that will boost their confidence going into the last 9 games. And you saw in the difference, the way Ghana approached that game, they were very, very robust. They were aggressive. They made tackles like they didn't do that at the start of the season. People were running. People were working for each other. It's something that we didn't see from Ghana side in the first 20-25 games, but ever since Beston Chambeshi has gone to Ghana Football Club, you can see the difference. Yes, and Bazo. He knows the DNA of the football club, and the way in Ghana now are playing, they're playing on the front foot, they are putting oppositions under pressure, they are defending aggressively, because once you defend aggressively, it allows you to attack even more aggressively, and you see Alex Ngonga is running rings in the defenders, giving them problems, is spinning off in wide areas, trying to create the width for Ghana Football Club, and it's allowing people like Alison Chisala. Now you can see a different Alison Chisala getting into the box, Fed Sutra Shimenga. It's a different dimension in Ghana Football Club, and I hope it continues, because what's the most important thing is that he's working on that defense. They are now not conceding goals, because they are conceding goals like giving Christmas gifts in Ghana Football Club, but now they look very, very solid at the back. They defend with a little bit of a high line, because
it's a very good goalkeeper.
Yes, yes, he was very, very outstanding. Yeah, he's made a couple of errors in the past, but he looks decent. Yeah, yes, he looks decent in the last 2 games, and you can see Ghana Football Club, every time they defended, they were deep, because they never had the confidence to defend up the field. But now they have got the confidence; they can defend up the field. They press teams now in their own areas, and it's good for them. They could get that odd go and sit on the lead, and it will see them through the line.
Comment reserved.
I think Augustine is right on point. The biggest mistake the biggest dive that we had as Ghana Football Club was at a time when we lost a couple of players and the transfer window had closed. So what Ghana needed was to find players who were free agents. And apparently we had a couple of them from Zimbabwe who were free agents, and they came and dominated in Ghana Football Club and started gifting goals to the opponents, even when it's absolutely not necessary. But I think I'm glad on the positive trajectory that we are making out of that relegation zone, and we should be able to do something as a nation to save Ghana Football Club. And one of the clubs that are in our path of destruction towards survival is actually Red Arrows Football Club, and we will manage it.
And you won't find it a struggle with Lusaka Dynamos.
No. Those are our brothers. They even know what is at stake. Those are our brothers. And you know, Ghana Football Club, you see the morale which is in the squad, the motivation which is there. And I was glad during the course of the week I saw management, CEO of Mopani, Ghana Football Club CEO, they all went to motivate the players, motivating them, of course, confirming that their financial issues...
Confirm that their arrears were paid.
I am not aware about that. I am not an administrator to discuss players. Are you aware that the arrears are nothing?
That's what came out last week.
No, there's nothing. We had management going to motivate the players, and I think it's from that kind of discussion that we have seen even the morale in the team keeps going up. It keeps going up, and we are building momentum. And come Lusaka Dynamos is visiting the red side of Kitwe yesterday or tomorrow, it will be a different story. They will have a very, very long journey back from Kitwe to Lusaka.
I think talking of the morale, one caller last week said the same thing, to say I think our Zambian clubs, they lack that boost in terms of management boosting the players when the gameplay is down, is a bit down, and I'm glad you've touched of that as well. But looking at
another interesting part, I think the coming in of Alex Ngonga, you've seen his brought-in character, which was lacking at Ghana Football Club in recent weeks. He's more of a leader. He's not sorry, he's not the guy who's wearing the armband, but he's a leader. Alex Ngonga, you can see he's always protecting his teammates. He's always on the oppositions. I think he plays on the shoulders of the last defender, which gives you a boost as a team, because you have got a guy who is willing to run in behind defenders, because most of the times we have got a lot of strikers like Simon Mulenga was playing. Yes, he scored a number of goals, but he was always coming short to pick up the ball, coming deep. He's not willing to run in behind defenses. But now they have got Alex Ngonga, Harrison Chisala. He knows the ball to play, even if he closes his eyes, because he knows Bazo is making a forward run.
Would you say he wants to prove Perry Mtaparo?
Yeah, I think the relationship between Alex and Perry didn't just work out. I think it's something, maybe Perry's philosophy, maybe discipline-wise. You never know what was going behind the scenes at Power Dynamos, but he's there to resurrect his career at Ghana Football Club.
And you see, this is what Ghana Football Club has been lacking of late, if you ask me. The departure of one Idris Ilunga Mbombo, the type of player that Idris was, even the 10 players in the team, their morale, their shoulders would be low. he would rise up as an individual, push every player to play football, and he would take it personal and put in that extra effort to fight for a goal and get a goal. He did that against Cabo Warriors. We saw that. I think that should have been.
I think Red Arrows in Ghana, when you won the title, I think if without Idris Mbombo, that game would have been lost.
Exactly. He single-handedly tries to motivate the rest of the team, and now that is the type of character that we were lacking. The coming in of Idris Ilunga, the coming in of Alex Ngonga is bringing that zeal back in the squad, that even when the rest of the players are not putting in 100%, a single individual who wants to resuscitate his career at Nkana Football Club is actually doing it game after game.
Leading by example.
Leading by example, of course, yeah. This clearly shows that we were lacking that individual character that can just rise up and just say, guys, if you don't want to win, I'm going to win this match alone. And that's exactly the type of effort and teamwork that is coming up at Nkana Football. And
what Tango Robson has said, just to add on, I think we've seen it in recent weeks. I think the game against Power Dynamos, against Disconnected, you would see Nkana side now which is pressing, because Bazo is willing to press, is willing to close down each and every defender who is in possession of the ball, to put pressure on them so that they go long, and they have got Okran and Chimwemwe and Moyo who can win the aerial balls, and this is working for Ghana. Bazo will put pressure on the oppositions, they go long, then you win there and you start playing from there.
Anyway, that's a lovely discussion, gents, that we've had concerning Ghana. But before wasting much of the time, maybe it would be best if we were joined by our guest after this very short break, as Ango Robson will run us through the show. We'll just take a very short break and we'll be right back on the other side.
Camnet TV is here to entertain, educate and inform you. Catch Rise and Thrive at 0730 hours every Saturday. Fresh and new praise and worship comes Monday to Friday at 8 hours. Kids need to be glued to the TV every weekday at 09 hours for their favorite cartoons. Off the pitch with the boys as they talk about sport on Saturdays at 0930 hours.
Remember, we are also here to entertain you with our different varieties of movies every weekday at 10 hours. Join Pastor Victoria and Moses Chuluba with Healing Word Ministries International Church live sermon every Sunday at 10 hours.
Katamanda brings to you another journey of gospel ministers on Saturdays at 10:30 hours. The verdict comes to your screens at 17:45 hours. Join the Revival Harvest Church every Sunday at 18:30 hours.
Every Monday to Saturday, join us on the news desk at 12 hours as we bring to you the midday news, and at 19:30 hours Central African time every day for the main bulletin.
The ministry with Pastor Moses Chilua comes every Friday at 20:45 hours. On Mondays, it's your favorite national matters at 20:45 hours.
Wednesday and Thursday, Pastor Victoria and Moses Chiluba are on Partnership of Greatness with different spiritual teachings at 20:45 hours.
And Frank on Camnet comes to your screen every Tuesday at 20:45 hours.
Camnet TV, not just another channel.
The much awaited for Camnet conference is now scheduled for May 2021 with your hosts, Pastors Victoria and Moses Chiluba.
We have believed that every Zambian was born for greatness, and that you and I can contribute to the development of this nation.
The big questions to ask are: can Zambia develop through agriculture? Can we produce indigenous Zambian millionaires? Plan not to miss this national conference on empowering Zambians through agriculture knowledge. Dates: 28th to 29th May 2021. Time: 0730 hours to 1630 hours. Venue: the Healing Word Ministries International in Ibex Hill. Charges: 950 kwacha. Lunch inclusive for both days. Payments through via mobile money on 0962 965 883 or 0979 753 010, or you can pay via Stanbic bank account number 91 3000 1825 325. Speakers will be Professor Reda.
We need Zambia to be one of the best nations in Africa.
Professor Munkumba.
If you just listen to a lecture, you may remember hardly anything. In 2 weeks' time, it's all gone. If you read, you may remember 10% of what you've read. If you participate in a discussion, 50% retention of the knowledge. So I always tell people knowledge is the only thing that when you share it, you don't lose it.
Professor Msongole.
Agriculture can actually solve our unemployment for our youth. Through exports, agricultural exports, we can also stabilize our foreign exchange.
Honorable Bob Chinga.
When you do a budget, you plan it so that all the sectors, especially those that will give you low-lying fruits, in other words, you can achieve a lot with it, are the first things you do first.
And biologist Kamweneshe.
If we came together and put our hands together and concentrate on the soil. The people in Kenya, these Swahili people said, Dongo ni mali, means soil, that's money.
Register your participation through Camnet lines. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Welcome back to the show, and it's a lovely, wonderful morning once again. And this morning, interestingly, we are joined by one EXCO member of City of Lusaka, one media director, and he's a very, very good football administrator, and we've been together in the stadium. We watched quite a couple of games with him. We are glad to have him in the studio this morning, and I would like to welcome one Alex Basompo-Njovu.
Thanks,
welcome to the show, and it's good that you're here.
No, thanks. Very good. Thank you for this opportunity. We love football. We live football. It's important that we share what we know with the public.
Okay. Going straight to the fixtures, we have one fixture that is kicking off at 13 hours. We have Kitwe United playing Cabo Warriors, and in the same stadium, we are going to have Power Dynamos taking on Zesco United. Your take on these two games this afternoon?
Well, this year is interesting for Power Dynamos. It's their jubilee. They are preparing to celebrate what is called Jubilee, Golden Jubilee, 50 years of their existence. And for me, for some of us who are Christians, Jubilee, Golden Jubilee brings happiness, celebrations. But unfortunately, things have not been working out for Power Dynamos. Things have been very bad on the road. Both at home and on the road. I think in 8 games they have not won a single game. Their last win was against Napsa Stars at Woodland Stadium. That is March 29. So today, unfortunately, I see Zesco winning, carrying the day. I feel bad for my friends at Power Dynamos, James Sakara and others. Zesco, they lost last week against Ghana, but today I was talking to their media person, Desmond Katongo, yesterday. They're saying this is must win for them because they know Zanaco is
breathing on their necks.
So I feel bad for Power. Things have not been well. The game against Warriors yesterday, I was talking to one Ian Bakar. I started very well at Warriors. This game they win, they will consolidate the 3rd position. They desperate to play continental football. So for Kitwe, they must not be underrated. They are almost down already.
They are confirmed relegated.
They are confirmed, but these are teams that frustrate other teams. Look at Ghana where they are. They are struggling, but they've been beating big teams. So Warriors, do not make a mistake of underrating Kitwe United. They may just surprise you.
Augustine, your take on the 2 games at Arthur Davis Stadium this afternoon?
I think it's going to be interesting seeing a Cabo Warriors side which is chasing for continental football going to play Kitwe United. They are playing for nothing. I think you saw Kitwe United getting a point off Forest Rangers, and it's slowly putting pressure on Forest Rangers because they are losing ground on top 4 because all the teams are now catching up, and we saw Kitwe United beating Ghana, unfortunately, at Arthur Davis Stadium. It can happen to Cabo Warriors if they do not go there and be very, very focused against the Kitwe United side, which is playing for nothing but pride. I think it's going to be an interesting encounter. Cabo Warriors have looked decent. They look solid at the back. They do not concede a lot of goals. They do not score a lot of goals, but they are very, very compact, and they know how to grind out results. And when they get the lead, it's possible for them to sit on it. And I see a Cabo Warriors victory in this one, but it's not going to be an easy game. And going into the second game, Power Dynamos versus Zesco United, surely Power Dynamos needs to start getting results on the board, because before they know it, they'll be slowly but surely going into relegation, because teams are now catching up. You can see now Green Buffaloes putting up a run of 4 games, winning 4 games in a row. Young Green Eagles, they are making their home ground fortress. You can see now people, they slaughtered Green Eagles in midweek. Now teams are trying to push away from that relegation zone, and if you are Power Dynamos, like Basopo said, you have gone 8 games without winning anything. That's relegation form. Power Dynamos at the start of the season, the first round, they had conceded 11 goals. They were one of the meanest defense, but they are not scoring enough going forward. And now tables have turned this campaign. They have conceded 25 goals now, Power Dynamos, and that's not looking very, very good for a team like Power Dynamos. When Perry Mutapa went into Power Dynamos, he said you won't see many of these players come next season. You will have to bring in new players who will come and lift this football club. But did the executive back him in the transfer market? I don't think so, because Power Dynamo's problem has been scoring goals. They do not have someone to score goals. I think maybe Adam Zikiru would have been their first target, knowing Perry Mutapa, having worked with Adam Zikiru.
Before you proceed, Augustine, you had an opportunity to watch Zanaco in midweek versus Power Dynamos, and if I'm not mistaken, that game, I think Power Dynamos only had one shot on target the entire 90 minutes. And
the team which possesses a lot of ball possession, they control games, they dominate teams in possession, and for them not to be scoring enough goals, I think to me it's a disaster for Power Dynamos. I must say, you have got David Daka. How many goals did David Daka give you in a season? He rarely scores. David Daka can score 2 goals in a season, the entire season, just 2 goals. Kennedy Msonda, sorry, is more of an impact player. You wouldn't win a league with Kennedy Msonda being your main man. If he's coming off the bench, yes, as a squad player, he will help you here and there. But Power Dynamos, you see them, they've lost their spine. I think the only player you would pick that is top class, I think, is Benson Sakala in that central midfield, the holding midfielder. He's probably Power Dynamos' best player. Yes.
Today is not even playing.
Imagine now the problems that comes with it. I think that central pairing, Makuburi, White Manamba, I think there's no very good defense.
We'll come back to Power Dynamos. Okay. We'll dig deeper on Power Dynamos when you come to. There's a certain topic I want us to discuss very, very briefly. And there are 2 games that we need to look at again this afternoon, ladies and gentlemen watching all over the country. We have Red Arrows coming up against Forest Rangers in the afternoon. Your take on that game before we get back to Power Dynamos.
Interesting happenings at Red Arrows. I think at the start of the season, the club had to let go about 11 senior players. One who is at City of Lusaka, Luwinda Mundia, and there were a lot of question marks around that decision by the football club and Chisimbewe. Why has he let go so many senior players? But someone like me who has been a correspondent for Red Arrows and has been following the football club and I'm a fan, I understood the decision the club took, but it was always going to take time for results to start coming, because they brought in young players now to try and fill up big shoes like Bronson Chama, the whole he left. Joseph Zimba was always a regular left back. Danny Siwanda, Danny Munyao, Luwinda Mundia. Those are seasoned campaigners, but now Chisimbe had to go in with more of a young team to try and make them understand the way the team has to play and challenge for maybe a continental slot. And at the start of the season, results were not there, but the performances were there. Red Arrows were playing very, very good football. I think we were together in most games, and Koloma Stadium against Power Dynamos, Lumwana. They dominated teams, but they were not getting the goals. They were not getting the results, and it looked like it was going to be a disaster, and the decision by the management was very, very wrong. But now everything seems to be working very well for Red Arrows. The combinations are right. Yusuf Saddam, the player you had picked up, but why was he not playing, is now playing now. And you can see now the right balance in midfield. The defense is solid. They're not conceding a lot of goals, and they're scoring goals, and they look closer to fighting for continental football and playing against a Forest Rangers side. 11 points difference, goal difference. The only difference is that they have got a better goal difference for Forest Rangers. This is a chance for Red Arrows now to go into the top 4. Beat Forest Rangers at the top 4.
I need your views on the game against the game between Red Arrows and Forest Rangers. When you look at Forest Rangers and what they've been going through, remember at some point they had to sideline their coach. Briefly, he missed a game or 2.
Yes.
When there was speculation that one based on Chambeshi was likely to proceed to the Ndola-based side. But that didn't happen, and we saw him back on the bench the following week. What is your take about the fortunes this afternoon against Red Arrows?
For me, the problem is that at Forest Rangers, at Dola, if there are problems, that is the executive problem. Trust me. Look, at the time they wanted to fire him, the guy was number 2. They wanted to sideline, but no, there are about 10 or so guys in the executive. They expected them. They had already counted the eggs before the chicks were hatched. they wanted the team to beat NAPSA Stars, but NAPSA is not a small team. Remember when NAPSA flew direct from Cameroon into Ndola, they lost 1-0. They said he is going. To me, that was a mistake. This is a guy who has transformed the team since he moved from Cavaliers to Ndola. The team has been performing well. Even now, they're not bad. They're only seeing Forest Rangers that they are losing away. Even this afternoon, I can tell you that I said Red Arrows winning this game. I'm talking about Red Arrows. I'm not a fan of Red Arrows. They are our rivals. I'm pure by blood and seat of Lusaka. But to me, there are two teams in the last 2 months, or 1 month, when you look at the log, that don't deserve credit from the media. One of them is Green Buffaloes and Red Arrows. These two teams are doing very well. Besides Zesco, Green Buffaloes and Red Arrows are doing it. They're picking points and they're quite. Look at Red Arrows where they are. They're seated the number, I think number 5. They win today, they're going top 4. Forest Rangers who drop out. So to me, if you look at Red Arrows, they're not playing any beautiful football, no. But
they're picking results.
And when they have a chance, they will hammer it. And they're making use of the veteran striker. They've got James Chamang and the Malian guy.
Yes, Alassane Diarra.
Yes, and the guy from Congo. To me, yes, even our former player, the one who's at City of Lusaka,
Yusuf Saddam.
Yes, to me, these are the guys that are making difference. Your goalkeeping department is one of the worst. That's a must admit.
We have struggled.
But in front of the goal, even your midfield, they are able to do their job. If their defense is under pressure, it can crack. But up front there, Chamanga is using experience. And the coach, the former Mbala Secondary School pupil and schoolboy, Chisimbewa. To me, that's the guy who's doing, since he was given the mantle from one Janza, the guy has transformed the team. The guy is working, he has gained respect from the players.
I think that was something that was lacking, if you ask me, when he had the senior 11 players. It was a situation where I think he lost grip of his backroom.
I think he played with most of them.
And
yes.
You know, when you play with a player and eventually you become the coach, they start undermining you. And probably that was the biggest hitch that Red Arrows was going through. The decision he made to take away the 11 senior players and just start building up again, I think we are all beginning to see the results.
Yeah.
What's your prediction this afternoon on that game?
Personally, I see Arrows will get it. They can even get it 2-0. Arrows, they're like the Janga Rangers in 1998. Even 1-0, they can win it. Trust me, they can even win it 1-0.
I know. It's a very, very easy question for Augustine, knowing very well that he's got a very, very, very rich background of Red Arrows.
I think
what is your prediction?
I'll also go with a 2-0 scoreline because Forest Rangers have been struggling away from home. And one special mention at Red Arrows, I think, has been Congolese defender Trésor Chiboabo. He's come in and he stabilized that backline alongside the Cameroonian international Elvis Bisong. I think another special mention is young Benedict Chepeshiki, being captain of a big side like Red Arrows, leading senior players
link there at the back.
Yes, I think he rushes into going into yes, I think, but
he's helped by
Trésor Chiboabo, I think, to me is one of the best.
Augustine on Bisong, if you ask me, he's one of the weakest links you have in defense. That one and the goalkeeper. I've watched a couple of games where if he's put under pressure, he's not very good at his feet.
Yes.
When there's an aerial ball, he always clears it off.
Yes, he wins all the aerial balls.
Gentlemen, very quick one before we shift to the Eden University. There's been this talk of the administrative leave versus constructive dismissal. A very, very quick discussion on that one. And I would want you, Basop, specifically why we invited you to this show is basically your understanding of football administration and why most of the coaches in the Zambian Super League are being sent on administrative leave against what I call a constructive dismissal. What is your take about what is going on in the Zambian Super League? I'm not being specific to any club, by the way.
No, but I'll tell you. The only reason why coaches are being sent on administrative leave as opposed to being fired or dismissed is just one. Coaches, let's take for example Perry Mutapa at Power Dynamos. He signed a 2-year contract. Power Dynamos know that if they fire him, they have to pay him for the remainder of 1 year of his contract. So therefore, put him on administrative leave, they'll be just paying his salary until his contract comes to an end. The same issue at Prison Leopards when they promoted Balanga to be the
head coach.
Not the head coach now, is the technical director. That's the reason also they gave. These are issues from sources that we got there with our friend, the soccer fans. They don't want to pay them. Once they fire you, you are not. That's the issue.
I think that's a very, very interesting point, like Mr. Basop was raised. I think now the issue is how do they draft these contracts. I think there should be targets to be put to a coach. You give them targets. If you do not achieve this, you have failed as then we will terminate your contract. It has to be something which is mutual. You make an agreement. If you qualify us for continental football, we'll give you bonuses. But if you fail, we'll terminate your contract and maybe we won't pay you anything. I think you need to come to an agreement rather than going on administrative leave. How is the Ghana coach Kelvin Kaindo on administrative leave and someone has taken over his job? I think it's a joke. Red Arrows, it happened at Red Arrows when George Rwandamina, I think he went on administrative leave. The next time you see him is at Jesco United. I think it's not helping the football thing. I think they just need to come out. If they terminate contracts, they terminate contracts, and then we move on.
I think for me, if you ask me, it's a situation where when these contracts are being crafted and drafted, I think, because the way football is, it should be performance-based contracts.
Yes.
It becomes easier to invoke a clause in a contract where performance is not achieving the desired results. But the situation the way it is now, where administrative leave has become a norm, and once you're on administrative leave, the next thing you see is the club is appointing another coach. I think it's for lack of respect. I would want to urge all the football administrators to pay particular attention to the contracts that you issue to these coaches. Let us respect them. Let us employ the contract the way it should be done.
That's why I
just like
Peter Kaumba. This is why Peter Kaumba, most clubs were scared to engage Peter Kaumba. Before you employ him, he had to read through the contract and make sure that everything favored him. This is why probably has even gone into retirement. Peter Kaumba was one person who was never abused by clubs because he understood. But some of the coaches of these days, they're too excited.
They're rushing into jobs.
Rushing to sign a contract even without knowing what is in there. That's the problem.
I think one interesting thing that I saw, I think from the Brazilian FA, something they are trying to come up. They're trying to do away with these clubs changing coaches every week. I think we've seen Prison Leopards, Munyash Pepo went, Balange became coach, now it's Albert Kachinga. We've seen at Nkana, they sacked Manfred Chawinga, brought in Kelvin Kaindo, it didn't work out.
But again, look, clubs are independent. There's nothing that the state or anyone can do or the FA can do.
Yes.
I mean, you know that football...
I think Brazil are trying to come up with laws to say you can only change the coach twice, just like they send players 2 transfer windows. They're trying to implement something like that to say we need to safeguard these coaches as well. And clubs need to have a vision in terms of how do they move from, they need to have a short-term project, long-term project, and in that regard they are trying to, you can only change your coaches twice a season.
Okay, great. To the viewers who are joining us and watching us live, we are discussing the Zambian Premier League as well as the Eden University, but at this point in time I would like to switch attention to why Basopo is here. And congratulations, City of Lusaka, for the sponsorship that you've clinched.
Thanks. We're the best
the kit that you have acquired, I can see this is a copper kit.
Yes.
Well dressed, City of Lusaka, well done. Thanks. And we urge and we would want all the other clubs to emulate the path that City of Lusaka is taking in this Eden National University. Now, looking at the performance of City of Lusaka, when you look at your previous coach, prior to the engagement of one Isaac Chansa, the performance of the team, you were very, very close to the top 4. And when you look at your position now in the league, City of Lusaka is sitting on position 5. 5 points adrift the 4th.
One win in the last 6.
I didn't want to say that. I wanted him to come to that. 1 win, 2 draws, and how many losses? 3 losses.
2 losses.
2 losses. Your take on what is actually going on there?
First things first. Our coach, the Serbian coach, did not resign. I would like to put things on record. He requested to leave to go and see his family in Serbia. And at the time he was leaving, 4 clubs, I will not mention them, they wanted to engage him, but he refused because he has got some engagement back home in Serbia. Now, coming to City of Lusaka, the appointment of Mr. Isaac Chansa at City of Lusaka, the richest club so far in Zambia, with a shopping mall. I can tell you that. We decided to engage one Isaac Chansa, one Gatuso Chansa, to give opportunities to upcoming coaches. We did not want to go back to veterans. We said, no. Let's go back to the guys who've done it for Zambia, guys who brought pride to this country, and we settled on Mr. Isaac Chansa. And I'd like to say this. Whether we win promotion or not, we are behind Mr. Isaac Chansa. Why? We will judge him when he starts assembling his own squad. Now, coming to the question you asked about the results, trust me, well, things have not been okay. The first game during such and such rain, we went to Zesco Shockers. The refereeing was pathetic. We drew 1-1 in Mongo. I was there, I was the delegation leader. We came from there, we went straight to Livingston. They battered us mercilessly, I must say, 3-0 with a lot of people in the stadium. At Maramba Stadium, scary scene, we were abused, but on the pitch, we were second best. We came to Lusaka, we beat Gomes 1-0 midweek.
Tell me something more about that game in Livingston. There are some disciplinary issues that are outstanding against Livingston Pirates on that game.
Yes,
what actually transpired?
They are supposed to be punished, not guys. Because one, look, when it was 14 hours, the executive, our friends, Nje Kwandwi and my older brother, a man I respect very much, and his friends, they deliberately opened. They allowing people. It's the EXCO that's supposed to stop people from coming in, but the officials there, Nje Kwandwi was not there, was somewhere else. But the officials, they allowed that the police were even seeing people entering for free, and it was like a riot, a political riot. There was nothing. There were no people to help players. There was nothing. It was just like there were no laws on that day. The supporters started abusing our bench, insulting us. It took the soccer fans about a handful of them to protect us. Our fellow executive members were nowhere near us. After they battered us, when it was 3-0 and 2 minutes to go, that's when one of the EXCO members comes and said, "How are you? Is everything okay?" We said, "You." After beating us and abusing us, when you were coming to say, "How are you?" We said, "Please stay away." We told them we're going to complain first, and I'm happy that the football house has responded to, look, if we all allow this COVID-19, people have died. We have the capacity to allow people, but we are only following the rules that do not allow people. We can allow a handful, but not over 5,000 people.
On a light note, does that tell me that City of Lusaka can't perform when there are fans in the stadium? No. Not taking away the fact that it was illegal for Livingston Pirates to allow fans to get into the stadium, but the mere fact that there were fans and you guys lost steam and ended up losing that match.
No, you are right. Hat off and congratulations to Pirates Press. That day the boys played like Arsenal of England. They were playing like they've never won. They wanted to win. No, the Pirates, two of their players were playing for City of Lusaka. So these boys wanted to prove a point, and they're always calling. They want to come back. The Pirates on that day.
Let's focus on this afternoon's match. City of Lusaka versus National Assembly.
Augustine, are you married?
No, I'm not.
I'll give you my wife. I'll give you the number for my wife. If you see Lusaka loses today against Forest Rangers, we are beating National Assembly. There will be an eclipse of the sun in Challenge tomorrow morning. I'll give you my wife. You can train me for a week. If you see Lusaka Football Club loses to National Assembly, we are beating them.
That is a very, very serious.
Very confident.
My number is 097. Trust me, can get that. If we see Lusaka loses, she's watching right now. If we lose against the National Assembly, minions, let me call them minions. We cannot lose to National Assembly. It's a derby and we're beating them 2-0, 3-0. I know we've not been scoring more than 2 goals, but there I see a cricket scoreline at Woodland Stadium. By the way, I always tell friends and colleagues, especially the young girls in the media, City of Lusaka, we are sponsored by Bolabet, by Southern Motors, and many others. Our players very soon will start driving Benz and Jeep. So you young journalists that are single, come at City of Lusaka.
Okay, there we go. We have the Eden standing there. National Assembly clearly understand where the confidence of Basop is coming from. Out of 27 games they played this season, they've only managed to win 1.
Yes.
And now they are facing City of Lusaka, whose win will narrow the gap between Chambishi Football Club and yourself.
And I might consider resigning today. I want to put on record, if we fail to beat National Assembly, I might resign my position at City of Lusaka. What will I be doing? I mean, at City of Lusaka, if you fail to beat a team like National Assembly, I will put in my resignation letter on Monday. It's better. I do something in Wangwa, I form a club, Map United in Wangwa where I come from, better than to Batula Stadium. We are winning.
I've got a question, I think, for Mr. Basop. I think looking at the project of City of Lusaka, we've seen clubs. Today they look like a big side. Tomorrow they're fighting relegation because they haven't had proper plans put in place in terms of youth structures? How well are you doing as City of Lusaka to have first a short-term project, mid-term project, and long-term project? Have you started the youth team at City of Lusaka?
We have got one of the best youth teams at Woodland Stadium. The boys from Chalala, from Livara, everywhere, they meet every day. We've got our youth coach is Vincent Mangamo, former Kongola Blades,
Yes.
and you know him.
Yes.
That's our youth coach. We are doing very well. That project is one of the best. Look, we have got a short-term and long-term project. What we are saying in the City of Lusaka, in the next 5 years, we must win. In fact, 4 years, we must win the MTN Super League. That's if MTN will be the sponsors then. We are winning the Super League, and the next 2 years, play continental football, win the CAF Champions League, and play at the FIFA Club World Championship. This is our vision as City of Lusaka, and we can do. Look at Woodland Stadium. Not long ago, it was an eyesore, but today it has been modernized. The best stadium in Southern Africa. You go to West Africa. I've traveled, I've lived in West Africa. You cannot find such a facility apart from in Ghana and Nigeria that have got similar, but most parts of Nigeria and Ghana, they don't have what we have at Woodland Stadium. It's the best stadium so far in Zambia apart from Heroes and the Levi Mwanawasa Stadium. So we've got everything. Look, comrade, I can tell you. I was talking to ZESCO officials before when they beat was the boys had gone 10 games and beaten. I told them, yes, the team that you need to end this madness where you are winning like Roman's business is City of Lusaka. We don't have a team. Look, in the Super Division, we don't fear anyone. We are ready to dangle money if ZESCO. If they can beat us, we are ready to dangle money in pre-season. We can meet anywhere. Whether they come, we play. Okay. We can and pay their players on top of that. We can beat them.
Okay. What's your thought? We have Trident taking on Kansanshi Dynamos. The game is live on ZNBC TV at 15 hours. We've got Zesco Shokas versus Kashikishi Warriors. Mpulungu Aba is taking on Gomez at Muzabwera grounds. Chambishi is taking on Livingston Pirates. That is the battle of the top 4. Changa Rangers is taking on Police College in Chingola. City of Lusaka, like we have dwelled on the game. They are taking on National Assemblies, the local derby, the battle of giants. We've seen a couple of players that play for these two clubs. They mingle with each other week in, week out, day in and day out, and it will be very, very interesting. This game is going to take place at Woodland Stadium this afternoon. Mighty Mufulira Wanderers take on Kafiwe Celtics at Chinde Stadium. I remember this game when Mufulira Wanderers came to Lusaka and they came to play Kafiwe Celtics at OIDC. If my memory serves me right, they were walloped by 5-1, if I'm not mistaken. What is your take about this game? Specifically this game, when you look at where Kafiwe Celtic is pushing towards promotion in the Super League. And now they are playing this veteran club in Mufulira Wanderers, who they walloped 5-1. Do you see this game having a similar result in Mufulira?
Yeah, I think Kafiwe Celtic have been playing fantastic football. I think they're one side which is very, very interesting to watch. They are very attack-minded. They do not sit back. They are always attacking teams, and they're playing against Mufulira Wanderers, which has been blowing hot and cold. I think they have been very much disappointing. I thought they are going to bounce right back after getting relegated, but they have found it very, very hard going in the National League. And Mighty Mufulira Wanderers this afternoon playing against a Kafiwe Celtic side, I think, which has got very, very young players. They are very youthful side, and I feel Kafiwe Celtic will just beat them by maybe 1-0.
To the contrary, I see Mufulira Wanderers winning this game. Not I see, they will win this game, trust me. If you look at Kafiwe Celtic, they are bad travelers. That's their own problem. They are bad travelers, and they have won very few games on the road.
Yes.
Mighty Mufulira Wanderers, the least they can get from this game is a draw. They have lost a few games at Chinde Stadium, Wanderers. Trust me, I see Wanderers winning this game today. They've got the boys, they've got the players, they've got issues of money that I don't know, but last time we were told the issues of money. But no, Wanderers, they've got this passion that they play for. I see Wanderers picking up the points. Not that because we are chasing the top 4, no, but Wanderers.
Maybe you want Wanderers to win so that the results favors you.
Win. We also want
okay, yeah. In the interest of time, tomorrow Sunday in the Eden League, Muza will take on Zesco Malite Rangers, and Konkola Blades will take on Kaisa at Konkola Stadium. We are going to take a very, very short commercial break, and we'll be right back to discuss the fixtures in the Zambian Super League that will take place tomorrow, Sunday, the 16th of May, 2021. We'll be right back.
Camnet TV is here to entertain, educate and inform you. Catch Rise and Thrive at 07:30 hours every Saturday. Fresh and new praise and worship comes Monday to Friday at 8 hours. Kids need to be glued to the TV every weekday at 09 hours for their favorite cartoons. Off the pitch with the boys as they talk about sport on Saturdays at 09:30 hours.
Remember, we are also here to entertain you with our different varieties of movies every weekday at 10 hours. Join Pastor Victoria and Moses Chuluwa with Healing Word Ministries International Church live sermon every Sunday at 10 hours.
Katamanda brings to you another journey of gospel ministers on Saturdays at 10:30 hours. The verdict comes to your screens at 17:45 hours. Join the Revival Harvest Church every Sunday at 18:30 hours.
Every Monday to Saturday, join us on the news desk at 12 hours as we bring to you the midday news, and at 19:30 hours Central African time every day for the main bulletin.
The ministry with Pastor Moses Chuluwa comes every Friday at 20:45 hours. On Mondays, it's your favorite national matters at 20:45 hours.
Wednesday and Thursday, Pastor Victoria and Moses Chuluwa are on Partnership of Greatness with different spiritual teachings at 20:45 hours.
And Frank on Camnet comes to your screen every Tuesday at 20:45 hours.
Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Welcome back to the show, and we are discussing nothing but football. And in the studio, like I have said, we have our guest this morning, who is Alex Basopo from City of Lusaka. He is an ex-co member, and he is the media director for City of Lusaka Football Club. And we are here to discuss nothing but football. And at this point in time, Augustine, the Zambian Premier League takes center stage this afternoon. We've discussed the kickoffs for today. Fixtures for tomorrow, we have Indeni versus Napsa Stars. This game will be live on Super Sport tomorrow. Kickoff is at 13 hours. The game will be followed by Nkana Football Club. That will be taking on Lusaka Dynamos at 15 hours at Nkana Stadium. We have Green Eagles versus Butekon. Green Buffaloes will take on Zanaco Football Club at Nkoloma Stadium. Prison Leopards versus Lumwana Radiants. A very, very quick one. Lumwana Radiants, what are their fortunes? What is happening? I remember when Bilton Msonda was given the job at Lumwana Radiants, he was very instrumental in turning things around, and I think, if my memory serves me right, he won the first 3 games, straight games. But look at where they are now. They've slipped back into the relegation zone.
Yeah,
what could be happening?
I think it's a matter of too late for Lumwana Radiants. I think the appointment of Bilton, it was the right appointment, but wrong timing. I think, to me, games had run out. They were very far away from safety, but now they look like a team. They have won a couple of games. They picked a draw against Zanaga, which was very impressive, and then they dropped 2 points against K200. Those were 2 points dropped, and now it's going to be a very, very tough task for them to stay up, because teams above them, like Young Green Eagles, they are winning games. The only team they can manage to get into that relegation fight, it's Prison Leopards at the moment, because they are shambolic. I think I must say, Prison Leopards, their performance is lackluster. Yeah, and Green Eagles, they have been performing poorly. Now it's going to be interesting to see how that relegation dogfight goes in the last 6 games or so, because Lumwana Radiants, their bad travelers, haven't been doing very, very well on the road. They have always depended on their home form. If they cannot get it right, I think they'll be relegated, unfortunately.
But so we have Green Buffaloes on a very, very positive trajectory. They've been collecting points on and off the road, and now they have a very, very serious fixture tomorrow against the Bankers, mighty Zanaco Football Club.
Look,
what is your take on that?
This is an interesting game. In the last 6 games, Justin Chinyama at Green Buffaloes, he has won 5 games, lost 1 against Warriors. Now, this is a game that brings together 2 top strikers in this country. Moses Piri has got 14 goals.
And Friday Sam.
Friday Sam has got 13 goals. Just that. To me, this is if everything goes well. This is an intelligent game and a scoring game. For me, I've got a lot of friends as Zanaco, brothers there, the media man, Mattia, and the late Dimanga are my very good friends. But for tomorrow, I think, let me shift to the barracks. The barracks are near Zito. Yes, after all, they give us players. So for me, I go with the Green Buffaloes. Because of the form they're in, Zanaco, they're very bad on the road. If you've noticed, this is why they're number 2. But when they go out, they're not playing well. At home, they're ruthless. They will skin you alive. They can even beat probably Orlando Pirates or probably Arsenal at Sunset Stadium, but not away. That's their sin. If they can put together and start winning on the road, they can beat Buffalo. But tomorrow, I see Buffalo getting it, unless otherwise.
Augustine, Green Eagles versus Buildcon Football Club.
I think before we go, we've got comments from Daniel Davis, Kingsley Israel Mwogo. He's saying, I'm watching you from Solwezi, and he's going on to say, well, that an interesting topic of today. Well, in my own view, what I can say is that most of the times I fail to understand why Zambian coaches like being sent on administrative leave. Maybe it might be the same club who wants their coaches to be bringing in results of their clubs, but wonder most of the teams, why do they do these teams? I think he's more of asking a question. We've got Milambo Miowa from Livingstone. I think she's someone who is in the media. She's saying, greetings gentlemen, please Uncle Napapata, don't use her as bait. National Assembly can stop anyone in this league. They may only have one win, but they can make you draw. To remember, football is played on the pitch. There are draw specialists. I fear for your job too, watching from Livingston.
No, but some will be reminded of this fixture immediately after this result. No, I'll be glad to invite him to the show in the coming weeks.
I'll give him here. We can meet and you get up for 1 week.
Okay, we have inconsistent 2 teams that will be meeting tomorrow. Your views on Green Eagles versus Buildcon Football Club?
Well, for me, because it is a very good word. But Green Eagles at home, they are ruthless. They can do anything. I see Buildcon losing this game. For one reason, Green Eagles are very good at home. And if you look at our logo, you win one game, you almost go to number 4 or away from relegation zone. So that's what you lose one game, like Power Diamonds, they lose today against Lesco, they will be almost 2 points above relegation. If teams above them win, that's the beauty about our logo. So you cannot afford to lose. But I say Buildcon had an opportunity to win on Wednesday, is it Thursday, which they felt against Indian, a very good Indian for that matter. So going to Choma Independence Stadium, those boys at Independence Stadium.
We've got a caller on the line. Good morning, you're through to Off the Pitch. Augustine, who am I speaking to?
Yeah, this is Alex calling from Burundi.
Yes, Alex, you can go through with your comments.
Yeah, my comment is that don't underrate. We don't underrate, yeah. Now, giving a punch for the people
What's your prediction?
Don't underrate. I think it will end 1-0.
Who is winning?
Who's winning? Mama China.
Yeah, but it's not easy.
Yes. Thank you very much for coming through.
Thanks, Mama China.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, in the interest of time, your closing remarks. Before we get to the closing remarks, interestingly, we haven't discussed the European League, but I think the Spanish League. Congratulations to Manchester City for winning the league.
The title.
Prior to their, they didn't even have to kick the ball, but Leicester City did it for them. And interesting games and interesting fixtures in Spain. Atletico Madrid. Is Diego Simeone likely to lose the grip?
I think I think the tricky game is against Osasuna. Osasuna, I think they surprised many teams, and I think if they get through that game, I think they'll be crowned champions of La Liga. Yes, they lost it during halfway through the season. They started picking up draws and losses at Atletico Madrid, but now they have realized the price is just ahead of them, and
incoming champions in Italy. But so we have Juventus taking on Inter Milan this afternoon.
A good game for me. Inter Milan have already, I think, won the title. The Scudetto, they won it. For me, Cristiano Ronaldo has bagged in already 100 goals for Juventus since he moved to Juventus. For me, it's a good game, but Lukaku is on fire. I see Inter Milan getting it.
Sure. Your closing remarks on the Zambian Super League.
Thank you very much, Ngorabson. It's been a wonderful show. We would like to thank all the viewers out there that tuned in to watch our program, and we're looking forward to interesting fixtures. Eden University, Uncle Basop here at Woodland Stadium, interesting encounter.
We'll be welcoming the wife.
Yes, and Red Arrows versus Forest Rangers, another interesting encounter that I'm looking forward to go and cover this afternoon.
Alex, your closing remarks.
There's a lot of football. If you think there's football in the MTN Super Division, MTN Super League, where there's football is in Eden University. City of Lusaka, the biggest club, formed in 1969, the winners of the first Super Cup this year. We won our first Super Division title in 1964. We are the biggest brand. Trust me, with the richest club, with the only club with a shopping mall. What else? Lewanika Mall. What else can you ask for? Our players are motivated. Everything is okay at City of Lusaka. And we are behind Mr. Isaac Chance as our coach.
Thank you so much. Dear viewers, we have come to the end of the show, and I think it was very, very nice to have my guests in the studio. And at this point in time, I would like to wish every team that is taking part this afternoon all the best in their fixtures. And from me, Rabson Skombe, from my entire colleagues, Amos, Augustine, and our guest, Alex, we are signing off, and keep watching Camnet TV, because Camnet TV is not just another channel. See you next weekend.